I think the ones that are established, they kind of flow above it, but it's a thin line. Like at one point, if you don't keep pushing, I think you're gonna find yourself down here real quick because everything is working against you. Like social media, it's very hard to reach people, and then on top of all the uncertainty in the economy,
shit's about to go down. I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tats with Aaron Della Vedova.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Chats and Tats with me, your host, Aaron Della Vedova. I am here in Frankfurt, Germany at Gods of Ink. An appropriate name because the gods of tattooing are actually here, and I happen to be sitting, in my opinion, with one of them today. Amazing, prolific tattooer, Japanese style. I'd say it's a little more modern Japanese, but just some of the cleanest, crispy Japanese tattooing I've found out there. Huge inspiration for me, fantastic human being and tattooer, and we're gonna hear a lot more about that. So with all that being said, please welcome my guest today, Chris Henriksen.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
What a nice introduction.
Oh, I meant it. I love your work, dude. It is, especially your shading on your finger waves. So smooth.
Thank you.
So smooth. But we're not going to get into how you tattoo too much, but I just want to acknowledge that. Beautiful tattoos. And I know you don't get there without a lot of fucking hard work, because that's what it takes in this craft. Is
definitely, yeah.
Thousands of hours, and you've been around 16 years is a good amount of time. And but I think you're well ahead of most that have been tattooing that long, It's so kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the inspiration you provide to me and so many others. But I'd like to start a little bit. It's always fun to hear about like how people find tattooing or how tattooing finds people. Like, how did that work in your case? How does this show up in your life?
Very random, I would say. I always loved tattoos and I was fascinated by it. And if I would see someone with a tattoo, I'd just stare as a kid. And I remember drawing, I would draw a man and draw where my tattoos were going to be when I grew up. So I was always very...
You already drawn bodysuits at like 8 years old?
No, it was more like little stickers. Like I played basketball, so I drew a basketball on his upper arm. Like, happy I didn't get that. So I was just always fascinated by it. And then at one point I was introduced to this guy who sat at home and tattooed, like a complete scratcher. And he showed me some things and explained. He would just talk. And I just got so curious. I was thinking, if he could do this, well, I could do this. So I got the China box delivered within a short time, and I just started practicing on the pigskin. And from there, it just kind of developed. At the same time, I was watching the Miami Ink shows, bought the DVD box, and would try to give myself homework. Be okay, I'll draw a dragon. So for a week, I just draw dragons. Still looked like crap. But it just happened very naturally. Because at that point I wasn't thinking, I'm going to be a tattoo artist. And then at one point I had to figure out a job situation. And then I just decided, no, fuck it, I'll just try to find an apprenticeship. And then I did that. Took a few months to actually get one. And but even then I didn't have like a 1 year plan or anything. I was just like, I'm here now, I'm just doing this. And then we'll see what happens. And it just kept like step by step, developing.
How was that apprenticeship? Was it good? The person that taught you, did they know how to tattoo and teach properly?
I think for when I was there, I loved being there. I didn't feel like I was taught as much as I wanted to be taught. And then for a couple of years afterwards, I was a bit like, that was shit. But now, like growing and like reflecting further, I really appreciate the apprenticeship because it was I would say very old school. It was two old guys. They were, I'm not gonna say old guys. They were in their 50s, and it was like very like street shop mentality, and people would hang out all day and just do walk-ins. So we'd have the flash sheets and all that. So I got to see that side before it developed into where we're at now, which I think gives me like a little bit of a perspective. And yeah,
That's cool.
So,
I mean,
so
I get
really
what
appreciate it.
you mean by that. That's fun to have been a part of that way and to where we are now. Because the people that are coming in now, some might, but most are never going to see that or understand that. Or make needles or tune a coil machine or you know, all these things that I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
You know? Of course, I went through a similar thing. I had 3 apprenticeships and all were violent and horrible, really. I mean, one of the guys could tattoo very well. He learned from Henry Goldfield. Yeah. And so what he taught me was taught to him by Henry. So I learned real shit, real machines, real needles, things like this. But other than that, it was just chaos and drugs and violence. And it kind of threw me into almost a hatred for tattooers in a way. For many years, I was just like, fuck these people. Yeah. I didn't understand there was all these things happening in Europe, and Philip was here, and these nice people that knew how to tattoo very well. And I just looked at anyone from that era like they're all so mean, and I want nothing to do with these people. And it took me years to kind of heal from that and realize I just got unlucky. Yeah. But maybe not unlucky. Everything teaches you something. So everything's perfect in some way in the universe somehow. Yeah.
I think that's also what I'm coming to. Like, it was actually like a really, really good apprenticeship. And I think at the time we just didn't see things from the same perspective. Like, I wanted to do like fine line, black and gray work, and I was very, very inspired by all the guys in California, like Steve Soto and Jose Lopez, and my master did not know how to do that. Like, he did Vikings, bold lines and freehand, and so we just wanted different things, and he was trying to teach me something and I wanted this, and I think that's where the controversy came.
That'll happen. But it's funny though, because now your tattooing has a traditional aesthetic, right? It's solid black line work, black backgrounds, simple color foregrounds. So in a way you have a traditional backbone to your tattooing. You know, so that whole black and gray realism ended up not being your thing. So.
I still took like the way I would shade back then. I took that into like my Japanese work. So I still have some of it, but not a lot.
Some of it serves you still. Like I said, your fades on your black and gray on your finger waves are just immaculate. I mean, just perfect, which is one of the hardest things to do in tattooing, is taking a black out to all the way to skin and like butter, you know, that's one of the trickier things in tattooing to do. Yeah. So you're married and you've got 3 boys. Yeah. What are their ages again?
10, 8, and 3.
And you own Dropout Tattoo. Last 3.5 years, you got 18 tattooers down there working with you. You've got a family and you've got your own career of tattooing. I have a similar situation, and I have had that for years. And for me, it's been a massive challenge to stay healthy mentally and physically and manage all these things. So tell me a little bit about that. Are you holding it all together, or are you losing your mind here and there? And then how do you take care of yourself? You look healthy and bright, you know, you don't look like you're physically broken yet or anything, or mentally broken. Yeah. So life and work and balancing all these things, how do you manage?
Very organized. Like, I think you have to build some sort of resilience. Very, very structured, I would just say. Like, I like to get up early in the morning, get my things done before, you know, getting the boys ready and going to work, and because the time slot I basically have to work within a day is just very limited. Like, I have to come in, tattoo, fix whatever needs to be fixed or taken care of in the studio, and then I'm out. Getting the boys, getting dinner ready, and the next things, and then looking at the emails in the evening, and so it's a very structured day. I think like co-owning the studio with my friend Ruben is really helpful. He's in the same situation. He also has kids, and
you get to split that part 50-50 with, you don't have to carry the whole load.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, and I think we're really good at working together and understanding like when he's in a period where he has a lot going on the side, and when I am in the same situation, we kind of pick up the slack for each other. So I think that's a really good relationship there. And my wife is amazing. Like, she's the one that sees me lose my shit. She's the one that gets all the trash unloaded on her. But she's great, amazing.
Does she help you with the business?
She does when I ask, but I don't ask so much.
She's not a formal part of the business, though.
No.
Okay.
No, I would like to include her more at some point, but I also want her to do her thing and be happy and, not just serve me in a way.
Mm-hmm. I did not do that, and that can get tricky when you bring the wife in and the two of you have to run it together. That's a challenge.
It can be like, for some, I think it's beautiful when you can just make it work and you're just in this symbiosis where you just work together, both privately and working. I think that's, if you can do it, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and it ended up being beautiful for us, but it took many years to figure that balance out. What about free time? I mean, how many days of work do you tattoo? How many days a week do you tattoo?
Monday to Friday. So 5 days.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a heavy schedule with all the other things going on.
Yeah.
So do you have hobbies and other things outside of tattooing, or not? I can't imagine you do.
Not really. Like, running the studio and tattooing itself is to me sort of a hobby. I know sometimes when people say that, people are like, but come on, like, real hobby. And then there's like just being with my family, and I think I don't really have time for a hobby. I want to keep in shape. I think you can call that a hobby, but it's not like I do any specific sport. I just want to stay in shape and
work out, exercise, and then back to work you go.
Exactly. Because I know it's just for a period. Like, when the boys are bigger, I'll have all the time in the world. So right now, it's just, that's how life is now, and that's just for a period. But it's also helped me get better at drawing, because I was forced to get better at freehand drawing because I didn't have time. I didn't have time to sit every day and prepare designs, and so I'd have to mentally prepare the design, know what I want to do, and then execute on spot. So that's been really helpful. You
hand draw most of your stuff on
most of it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Then I'll have, let's say I'm doing like a koi piece. It's very relevant. I do a lot of kois.
Yeah.
I'll just stencil the koi on and then add all the water and everything around it, the flow, and that saves me a lot of time.
And for big composition work, which is what you do, it's very effective creating flow and composition to be able to draw the backgrounds and things on the body. And
I really want to use the flow and the lines of the body and like the muscles so that it goes in the same directions. And I think it's when you draw that flat on an iPad and then you stick it on and then something is just completely off the lines of the body, then you just eliminate that.
Yeah, agree. I'm similar. You get the main subject matter stenciled and then work out the background with by hand. That's cool. What about I don't know. I guess I asked this question because it's big in my life. I call it a true north. Life can get crazy and can get stressful. Do you have a spiritual practice or a philosophical belief system or anything like that you anchor back into when everything seems to be fucking nuts and you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling like I'm going to lose my mind, and you come back to this center point that guides you?
Yeah, I think I would say that's probably running. Which is like a form of meditation in a way. Yeah, just, David Goggins it out. Like if everything gets too noisy, just get to the point where everything sucks, so all you focus on is just the present in a way. I found that meditation itself, I can't do it. It's not for me. But when I'm stuck in these situations where something is just so physically hard, I completely unwind because the only thing I'm thinking about is that one thing.
It's a form of meditation.
So in a way, when I need to just unplug, I have these periods where I just start doing this. Early mornings and
run it out.
Yeah.
Run it out. Yeah, a bit of a cyclist. It's funny, like cardio exercise. I don't know if this happens to you, but I feel like my best novel new ideas almost always happen when I'm doing cardio exercise.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you too?
Yeah, out there running and,
And all of a sudden you're like,
I have to stop, take out the phone, put out notes. And,
yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to.
And you have to write them down because they vaporize.
Yeah.
Once you're done, it's like, oh, what was it? It was so much better. I thought about it so much better when I was running, and now it's like a half idea, but it was fully formed before, and yeah.
Running along, stop, make notes, keep running.
Exactly.
Some days more notes than running, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this for 33 years, so watching all the evolution of our craft and all the new styles of tattooing that's coming along, and you being kind of your work having this traditional backbone to it, black line, black shading, simple color scheme, that to me is in a way a traditional approach to tattooing. But there's this massive movement for color realism.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Color, these hyper color, 85 tones of peach and cream tones and all these things.
I think it's extremely impressive to look at. Patience-wise, I would never want to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's so time demanding. But like it's impressive. It's such good work. Such good like quality and like technical work to it as well. I think it's really good. I wouldn't want to do it myself though.
No, I mean, as a guy that's been doing it this long, and we've had a few that have worked alongside me, and watching them, I have yet, and I'm not saying this can't be done, but I just don't know anyone doing it that well after 30 years. And, I look at some of them and I'm like, I don't want to be a dick about it, but I'm like, how long can you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, your eyes and your hands, and like, I know physically, how long can you actually tattoo like that, know? Because the work that we do, and you see guys, Henning was in here, 46 years of tattooing, and the style he does, Japanese, large format, you can kind of do that when you get older, you can still do that. But yeah, that would scare me if I was looking to tattoo for 30 years, 40 years. I'd be like, how am I going to do this later on? But I'm with you, like getting up there and just ding, 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 messing around with every little thing. I could never. No, I got to lean back and boom, boom, boom,
see some action,
yeah,
right?
See some action, and especially a lot of people wanting to get into large format tattooing, and with that style, I'm like, wow, that's hard. I mean, how many people want a sleeve that might take 100 hours or more?
It's a big commitment for the client as well.
Yeah. Well, you don't see very many photorealistic bodysuits. There's probably a reason.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a few out there. If I looked hard enough, they're out there.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So that, another thing I see happening in tattooing is this new paradigm shift from a tattoo always having to be subject matter, a snake, a flower, and now it's like we can just decorate. We can just it doesn't have to be anything in there at all.
I'm a big fan of that when it has flow. Not a big fan of the abstract when it's just so abstract that it's just an excuse for poor work in a way. We see that some places back home where it's just like, but you call it abstract because it's nothing, or like there's
like, okay, stand there, and they take an ink bottle and
basically.
All right,
basically.
there it is.
And I think it's just a little too vague.
Yeah.
But like the ones that pull it off with the flow and everything, I like that. But yeah, the whole like just decorating people, I think it's really, really cool. And I think also at this point we've seen like everything that can be drawn has been created. So we have to find new ways to do it. And like less is more in a way.
Yeah, minimalist type tattooing. I love it too, by the way. When I first saw a couple of them, I was like, my initial reaction was, well, you can't draw. So I don't care about that work. You
Yeah.
know? People that tattoo know how to draw things.
Yeah.
And then a few more come along, and now I'm like a super fan. I'm like, I almost want to do it. Just
I'm the same.
change my whole.
I'd love to do
portfolio.
more like wave, big scale stuff where it's just waves.
Just
That's it.
water.
Yeah.
We talked about that on another episode. I'm like, that sounds like a dream sleeve.
Yeah.
Just water.
Exactly.
People have a hard time with that one. But what's cool about that shift is you're seeing a shift finally of people really getting around this idea that your tattoo can just be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have to always represent your grandmother or your, everyone's searching, it has to have a meaning, because when I go show people my tattoo, I have to tell them what it meant. Otherwise it's not valid. And now you see a culture of like, no, I'm just decorating my body, just like you would decorate the inside of a home or something. You know?
Exactly.
An aesthetic. You're creating an aesthetic. I like that, because having to have meaning in your tattoo is so stifling so often when you're the artist, because you have this great design and you know it's working, and then at the end they're just like, but it has to have this, this thing, and you're like,
Right in the center, right?
Yeah, right here has to be like. Ew, God, that's where the koi fish was going to go. You can't put that there. So I like it, and I think it's going to continue to grow in that way. This whole thing, I don't know much about it in Europe, but what's going on over here with the color inks? I keep hearing that they're going to take them away and all this. Where are we at with that?
No, what they did was they banned some of the pigments. But as I kind of understand it, the production companies, they already knew. So basically nothing happened. I mean, the inks were swapped, but we still have all the colors.
Did they have to change the recipes a little bit or anything, or they just have to be approved now by?
They had to have labels stating what it contains in there. I don't know. Maybe they just rebottled all the inks and just put new labels on it. I don't know.
So the inks are still just as good.
I think so. I think some will say no, but I don't work that much with that many pigments. I usually just find, okay, if I need to do red, I figure out which red is good to work with, and then I mainly work with that.
What brand do you work with? One ink brand?
No, I am mostly Kurosumi and it's called World Famous.
Okay, I've never used World Famous. Red, I love Dermaglow.
Yeah.
I love their red.
Yeah, we can't use the Dermaglow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't Dermaglow out of the UK?
Finland, I think.
Finland?
No. I don't know, but if we want to get it, you can buy it through Finland. So there are ways, and people, like at conventions, people will stock up and...
Yeah, they make good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my palette is 7 or 9 different brands, because I've found my favorites over the years, and that's what I go to. Well, this is kind of a big question, but what do you think makes a great tattoo?
Ugh, that's a tough one.
Well, just try.
Well,
I mean, you make great tattoos.
I think there's many ways. Like many
and not
different ways.
Not just technique, but I mean, to be fair, I think you'll agree with me. Tattoo is more than the thing that you end up leaving, a good piece of art on somebody. It's an experience for somebody. There's all these other factors involved. I mean, at least this is the way I look at it. Like, I want to make a good tattoo for someone, but I want to make also this experience that when they look at that tattoo and remember that time we shared together, they on the inside smile and feel like that was fucking rad, But I don't want to answer the question for you, but it doesn't have to be a technical answer. Like, the lines have to be this way and the shading that way.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't define it like that. I think to sum it up into something very simple, like a simple answer, I would say an easy, readable tattoo. Where like the flow just aligns. You can see what it is from like our distance, and it just looks good even from here. If you walk 10 meters or further back, it still looks good. And it also looks good when you're up close. So like, when you see something that just works, your mind connects with it. It just, that's what it is, I think also that's why realism was such a popular style for a long time, because you'd see a rose and immediately your mind just goes, that's a rose, and it's a good rose. It looks exactly like a rose, so you like it. I think that's what makes a good tattoo, like being easy to read and understand immediately.
I agree. Composition.
Like rough, like overall.
Yeah.
And then you can go down to little like sections and different styles, but overall I would say that.
Absolutely. And that's why my whole career, I feel like it's just been 30 years of reduction, you know, drawing things and every time when I'm finished going, what didn't need to be there that I put there, you know, just boiling it simple till you get down to just the things that had to be, only the colors that needed to be there, only and then of course, composition is key, right? With big flowing work. That's one of the hardest things to learn really is the composition aspect. Yeah. Because a lot of people can learn technically how to tattoo. Yeah. But I kind of tell the people I teach, I'm like, you know, I'm going to teach you how these machines work and these needles work, but trust me, this is the easy part. You're going to get through this part quickly, and then we're going to get on to the thing you're going to work on for the rest of your career, which is how to put this stuff on bodies that fits and looks right from a distance and moves right and all that.
And then when you've learned that, you have to then think, okay, how can I add to this? And like build onto it and continue to like push it.
Absolutely. I was watching it on your Instagram this morning, and you've been doing some videos. You're getting on there, and you're
I did a few last summer.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And one of them, this Instagram, social media, this thing that seems to be, what do I say? It's just part of our job. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I think it kind of does. I mean,
I think if you decide it's not a part of your job, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, big time. Hugely, and I'm angry about that. I just miss the days where it was, you know, for my first 20 years, I used to brag everywhere I went. I'm like, I got the greatest job in the world. You know why? I just do a good job, and if I do a good job, that person tells somebody, and they come see me, and that's it. Yeah, simple. And now it's no, I have to do a good job. I have to make a good video of that. What I did that day, I have to edit it correctly. It's a whole nother workload added to every tattooer's life. Yeah. But one thing you said on the video was this idea of reaching out to your followers. You were like, look, a lot of people think, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for people to come to me. Yeah. And you were like, why can't you look at who's following you? You kind of get a sense of like who your fans are. Like, this guy's always loving my stuff. And or this is someone I've tattooed before that just pays attention to my work. Why can't you send them a DM and just say...
Basically, all your followers are just leads.
Yes.
But no one considers it really. And I think when I did that video, that was a hot topic in the studio. A lot of people were struggling and since I'm not struggling, I guess I can kind of pull back and see, okay, why aren't you guys doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Like, all these things are things you could do, but you're not. You're just sitting there waiting. And I think that's where it came from.
It's good advice. I hadn't considered that. I'll be talking to my folks about that one, because I think that's a really smart idea to do that, you know? And just social media in general. I don't know where that's going, if it's going to change, or it's just going to be, I was talking to somebody recently who's in the more, coming into this world as a business marketing person. And she was telling me, this is what her belief is, that what's going to happen is, and it's already happening according to her, is you're going to get these big brands that are overarching brands that will end up controlling. They'll be able to pay enough money to Instagram or any social media platform that the people that are involved with that brand will be seen when you open your phone. And if you're not with them, barely anyone will ever see your work. So we're moving into this like consolidation phase where everyone's going to have to be attached or pay. I mean, honestly, what she's saying is you're going to be paying these big companies a fee to be a part of that company so that you get noticed on social media.
I don't think it sounds like unlikely.
Me neither. I was like, I didn't like it, but I was like, I bet you that's true.
Already you see now how like the reach has just been going down over years. And we also had a period where you could just post a tattoo and then 5 clients would come and just tattoo me. But that's definitely changed.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to continue, and they're going to figure out, okay, how can we optimize, like the companies how can we optimize to make even more money off of these social media platforms? So it's just a natural development, I guess.
Yes, it is. I mean, when you say natural, you look at any other type of business.
Like leading towards the money, like natural in that sense.
Yeah. And we've gotten big enough where we're attracting the attention of big corporate entities now that are like, let's go into that world. There's enough money finally there where we can just own it, and anybody who wants to fucking tattoo every day is going to have to deal with us.
Yeah,
that's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be unicorns. There are people, yourself, and other tattooers that are just so damn good that's probably, if you want out of that game, get fucking good, and you can probably not have to deal with it. I think
if you're good enough, you can survive anything in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, let me ask you a little bit about the how do I say it? Maybe I'm saying the economy, but there's all this talk in the industry right now of business being a little tougher and getting clients being a little tougher, and it's the economy, it's saturation, and what's your perspective on that from Denmark, from Europe? What's going on over here for you guys in that way?
I think it's very similar to everywhere. The ones that don't have a huge waiting list and maybe are not so established, they're struggling. I think the ones that are established, they kind of flow above it, but it's a thin line. Like at one point, if you don't keep pushing, I think you're gonna find yourself down here real quick because everything is working against you. Like social media, it's very hard to reach people. And then on top of all the uncertainty in the economy, in Europe, it's the war. We talked about it briefly before. It's like, then there was the interest rates, the electricity bills,
inflation.
It just keeps coming stuff, and you can't really lean back and be like, okay, now we can relax. Now we can start having fun again. Like, and then a few months happen, next thing comes. So.
Very uncertain times.
Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know who it was, somebody said to me, and it was Denmark. I thought it was Denmark, and they were like talking about this, and they said, my power bill in Denmark is like 5 times more than it was 5 years ago. Is it things like that? Are you seeing that level of when things cost more? Is it that bad?
I don't know if it's 5 times, but for some it was definitely like double up.
Doubling?
Yeah, for a period.
Okay. Huh. That's a lot.
And if you can't just work an extra Sunday shift, it's like that just digs into all the money you have available for getting a tattoo or like all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So of course you don't necessarily book that tattoo appointment, which is a luxury. It's like no one needs to have a tattoo. It's nice. It's great to have, and for some it's a little bit of a status symbol to have a nice tattoo, and for others it just makes them happy. But it's not necessary.
Yeah, well, I thought you might say that. And, similar where we're at, I don't know if it's as extreme, but it's similar in America, but I feel like it's more extreme in Europe, probably because of the war and other things that are happening over here. But on that note, what are you guys charging over here for tattoos in general?
I think, like roughly, there's a big difference between, for example, Spain and Denmark.
Okay.
Like Northern Europe has a very different economy than South of Europe.
Better economy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like everything also costs more, and we pay higher taxes, and so in that sense it's different. But I think roughly in Denmark you would charge maybe $150 per hour.
Okay.
That's like the average, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Here in America, 200, maybe 250.
Yeah.
Hourly is still happening in many places.
But that's also like another interesting thing is a lot of Europeans go to the States, they go to to charge more, and you know, you can go to the States, you can charge double up what you charge at home, and now you see everyone is applying for work visas for the States, including myself. So, but it's going to be interesting to see if a year from now, if all the Europeans just came and just completely like deflated everything in a way.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a ton of it. I mean, the amount of people from Europe that come and guest tattoo with us, it's doubling every 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Exactly. It's only money. Like, and you get an experience as well. And you can
that too.
Mix it with like fun and like a vacation and just exploring things, you know. But in general terms, it's because you can charge more.
Well, let's close with this. What's next for you? I mean, I know you're going to keep doing what you do, but when you look at your life 10 years out, is there somewhere you want to be that's different than where you are now? Is there any big dream you're pursuing, or is it just steady as she goes? What do you got planned?
Right now, steady.
Yeah.
Like, be smart with the finances so that in 10 years from now, there's more freedom to do those things that you want to do at that point. Keep dropout running. And it's like my main thing is just staying relevant. Figure out, okay, how do I tweak my work so that it continues to stay relevant? Because I don't think what I'm doing now is going to be the thing I'm doing in 6 years. So I'm trying to be very aware of this and making sure that I don't plateau or just let the whole world pass me. So yeah, that's important to me. Stay relevant.
Very competitive right now. You can't sit still. Can't find a niche and be like, I've got it. Everyone loves it. I'll be doing this for the next 20 years. Good luck with that plan.
No, because people are they're gonna try to mimic it, and then they're gonna do it better than you. So if you don't constantly develop it, you're just gonna be
slowly degrade.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, you're doing a good job of it. I think you're going to accomplish that goal. I appreciate your work tremendously, and I get a lot of inspiration from it. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit today. And you tattooing out there today?
Yeah.
I'll swing by and see what you're up to.
You're welcome.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers. Everybody tuning in, thank you for tuning in. And thanks for all the likes and subscriptions you've been giving me. So keep them coming. This show is fun, but I need love. So thank you for the love you've been giving me, and more is always welcome. See you on the next one.
Chats and Tats with Aaron Della Vedova.